What is going on, people? It's your boy Shin Ryu, and that is time for another King Arthur's Legends Rise video. I called you guys, my boy is here, he's finally here. I told you guys that's going to come in soon, and I also mentioned before that after Brennan was released, that there was a strong chance that the character was going to be next. And of course, after the teaser with the Nika and Sarah's characters who are still available right here in the summon section for a few hours at least, it's time for us to pull all our attention onto this bad boy. Okay, now before I actually go straight into the video for today, which is strictly going to be all about Caliburn, I want to go ahead and address some things real quick that should not be ignored once you go back and log in. Okay, now there's something that I would tell you that I'm also guilty of, but it should be a habit, and that is going right ahead to check this, shard shop on a daily basis. Okay, because I decided to go right ahead and check the shard shop, but guess what, we have something new going on here right now. If you guys are familiar with the shard shop, typically you get one legendary character who's available every week, and afterwards it turns into somebody different. And also you would have noticed that these legendary characters that were available were only the OGs, the guys who were around before Eorets came in, because Eorets was the first new legend that was introduced to the game before the likes of Vivian, Sarah and all the other people, Nikki, followed through. But during that era, there was only one legend that was always released. But now it looks like, I don't know if this is going to be for this week alone, and also, if you can tell, it looks like this time frame is only lasting for the next 6 hours, after which this is going to be reset to another weekly whatever. So if you have a character here that you like, you can sort of bounce in on it. I think they're going strong on the fact that all these shards here can be used nothing but to use on these characters. Okay, and like I mentioned before in the past, make sure you've actually increased every chivalry before you start to sell those. That's why I have so many of this, because I'm not sure, because they also cost a lot to actually increase the chivalries, but I'm not sure where I'm at, so I'm going to just mention that. I want to come to the relic as well. In this one, it's a little different. We do have just 2 legendaries here, but the good thing, like I mentioned before, is that now you can get legendaries of those new characters that came out after the OG legends that were available before. So you can always look at that. But then I also did mention something on the side as well. You can see now that you can actually now get memory stones. I'm not sure if you could ever get them before. I don't remember ever seeing them in the past. But now you can get legend stones on a daily. But it do cost the price of 1/10 of a typical, legend memory stone. Because as you guys know, they do match 1/10 of this, because it is the same price. So if you want to go little, you want to go hard, you can do one or the other. But in my opinion, I feel like the one thing that might be more scarce could be this mastery memory stone. So maybe you want to invest in those, but they cost a lot in my opinion still. So I'm still observing. I've not made a decision yet on those. However, this one here, this rate of summon tickets, are not as expensive really. And even if I'm not sure if the gauge works, but this is a scarce ticket, right? This ticket is like, it's very rare that you actually get the free version. They're usually paid whenever you have to get them, unless you're doing the other, events that get you those rewards, which I'm going to talk about next. Okay, now that's the first thing I wanted to tell you guys about. Do not ignore the shard shop. Very, very important stuff to make sure you know what's happening here. Now, of course, like I mentioned before, new things are coming, so I'm sure you have to go through this every day to make sure you do your deals and stuff. I don't know if there's going to be some new stuff in here, but so far I haven't seen any. But then again, this is just for yesterday. So let's get back to the main event, the reason why we are here. Okay, and the reason why we're here is, like I mentioned in the past, for this guy was the one guy that I figured, as long as I didn't see this character, I wasn't going to be bothered with who was next. And if you guys remember, before he came out, I think there was some sort of event that was I almost encouraged you to use your gems, but I was like, for me, my gems for one person only, so I'm going to just bulge. And this was actually during the era when we're not having guaranteed summons on 60 for the special summon tickets. It was pretty much like 1 in 50, like it was 50%. Like you could either get that or any other person share the other one. With my story before with Merlin, I was successful with somebody else. I think I was A lot, I think it was. I can't remember how it was, but that's in the past right now. But let's go to the main stuff I'm talking about here. Obviously, you don't want to miss on this stuff too, but always make sure you go through to see what the stuffs are. These are stamina events, when you have to use the stamina to get all the stuffs. These are good stuffs here. However, we do have another one right now. And some of these ones here are only available for 4 hours. So this is actually insane. You have to do these stuffs in 4 hours. So you have to use as much mastery memory stone in order to get all this stuffs here. Now, I have been saving my master memory stone for this. I remember during the event for Brennan, if you started to build up Brennan, right? If you started to build up Brennan, you couldn't reset him. And if you reset it, I think it sort of like would stunt any further progress. It was not even going to like memorize where you stop, but it's going to just stop it overall, okay? So this might be a good time to reset a particular character, use those memory, whatever. You have used yours already, and then just get as much, depending on how many you have. I think I have close to 100. I would need 120 to actually go as far as this, which is actually crazy. And how are we going to get those within the next 5? However, in my opinion, getting this stuff is important. Now, there is also another one as well. I think they're supposed to want crystal consumption. Now, the crystal consumption is going to grant you all these memory stones too. So it's also a chance for you to collect as much, but you're only going to be able to collect if you use 8,000 crystal, which is very, very doable. This is 8,000 crystal, you're going to get 5, 3, 10. You're going to get 10 memory stones extra. And right now I am on 89, I think. So that actually puts me on under pressure because I have to use 100 at the bare minimum. So say for example, and even if I don't have to, I need to, because I'm going to want to use on King Arthur, on Caliban Arthur, okay? I'm getting all over the place right now, but just bear with me, stick with me. But what I'm trying to say is, let's go to like just another character. Let's use Brennan, for example. So I haven't used anything on Brennan right now, okay? So if you go to Shiva right here, you can say I have 89 here. However, that will get me, if I get the one from, I don't know why I went all the way back, from the shard shop, that puts us at 90, so I can actually risk it because I think I have a few. Puts us at 90 right now, okay? And if I do complete the crystal whatever, then I can get 100, okay? Now, if we get 100 with the crystal, let's go back to this, and we now start to put the memory stone on Arthur, right? If we put the memory stone on Arthur, for example, Caliban Archer, I know that's what I'm talking about, right? Because Archer is free. You can always get him from regular stuff. Then we can use at least 100 and get all this. Of course, we won't do 120, but we can only do what we can actually afford, right? But just because we had a lot of like words and a lot of talk, let's get things a little bit interesting for actually go right here and talk about the character. I've actually tried to pull the character already, as you guys can see right here. Go into the summon here, and we do have 2 more to pull for a guaranteed summon. This is the one guy we actually want to try and pull right now, and after we pull this guy, we're going to go right ahead and talk about the guy's kit in details, and I'm going to tell you what actually makes him sort of like really, really unique, and also there's going to be an inevitable comparison to regular Arthur. And so this is all we have. 5, going to use all 5. I'm going to balance it with a bit of some gems because we want to do the gem stuff here. We have no choice. I would have tried to get more of those special summon tickets, but because I actually want to make sure that I do the gem, whatever, we're going to do this. So obviously we're not getting legendaries here. There's no point in just looking good things. Obviously we have some rares. We look at that, and it looks like you actually, as you pull, you also get some nice stuff here too. So now we're going to do the 1,500. Oh, this might not be guaranteed. This is not 60, so this might not be. Is this 60? Yeah, this is 60 actually. So it's time for us to see our boy and the animation. So let's give it a quick. Oh, he's coming first. Ready. Nice. Here we go. Oh my word. And there's the man right there. Just take a quick screenshot right there, you know what I mean? Just leave it like that. All right, and then we're just gonna go right here and just exit. So we'll come with the flame, whatever, and skip the rest. Now, once again, I'll tell you guys, one of the advantages of having a character come up as early as possible is if he comes early, then the countdown begins from here. So right now, Obviously, it starts with 60, but if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 away, because he's obviously the second, it's going to say 52 left, right? Which is pretty much what is amazing. There you go. So that's why if he comes last, that actually hurts, because it means the reset hasn't started yet, because the rest are fielded either rare or uncommon characters. So we got Arthur, but also we fulfilled a certain amount of the events right here for the crystals. And as I mentioned before, we still have a long way to go. And like I mentioned before as well, I think I want to go ham on Archer. But before we go ham on Archer, let's just go right ahead and let's look at the character that we have in person. He's going to be obviously his weak, because he has not been built at all. And he's going to be our priority for building. Okay, now there he is. But the one thing I've actually tried to wonder is this Archer or is this Caliburn? And why I say that, obviously it's Caliburn Archer. I think this is Caliburn, because the whole point of this Caliburn Archer, situation was, if you guys are playing storyline, don't want to do any spoilers. I don't know if you guys care about it, but the point is that there comes a time where Archer will have to face himself, okay, in Caliburn Archer. And it's all about battle of who controls his body long term. If Archer won, then Archer is going to be the one who's going to use the full extent of Calibur's power, but he's going to be himself. But if Caliburn won, then Caliburn is going to take over, and it's going to be pretty much this. But based on the story, on the information here that we have seen, let's see, where do we get, try and get, okay, I think the best to go is to the Codex, right? Based on the description of Caliburn Archer here, of course, to get that, whatever, it looks like what we have here is Caliburn. So it says Caliburn Sword in essence have perverted Archer's body, and he wields the power and rivals the gods. But it says he wields the power. So is it Caliburn or Archer? Whatever. However, the human body cannot sustain such incredible strength, and using it for too long will result in death. But Caliburn is willing to burn everything in a single chance at revenge. So that's where he actually says this is actually Caliburn here. So I'm calling it here right now. Maybe I might be wrong later, but there is going to be a third version of Archer who is in full power of Excalibur and whatever the other swords are, but he's going to be a legendary version, and it's going to probably be like a hybrid of this Caliburn here and the other, and his regular Archer. So this is Caliburn in the flesh here. That's what it is. So it's not really Archer, but it's Archer. It's Archer's body, but it's not Archer. So that's that part. But now here is the kicker and the last bit of it. We're going to go back and forth with Archer and Caliburn Archer. Now Archer is one of the most unique characters when it comes to his kits, especially the fact that he's a rare character. I guess that's the one grace that they gave him, like, you're a rare character, but we're going to make you feel a little bit special in terms of like your kit's description and all that stuff. So if you look at Caliburn regular Archer here, let's just go right ahead and jump straight to him. Some characters, the kits are based on elements, right? You know what? Okay, I'm going up against a storm character, so I might as well use flame. I'm going up against a frost character, so I might as well use storm. I'm going up against a flame character, I might as well use frost, whatever the stuff is. But there are some certain kits, in my opinion, Rigorover's to go to, and I feel like there has to be a version of Archer that needs to redeem Excalibur as the main sword, because right now Excalibur, as a great sword, it is not the best sword in my opinion. I think it's even the third best, because in the beta version, Excalibur had AoE in the third, right? But the AoE, I think the AoE could do, can this one do it as well? Let me just see. I don't think it can. It could do stun. It looks like only. Which one can do stun here then? Okay, this is the only skill to can do stun here. But I can't remember the AoE could do stun, but the AoE was actually, he had AoEs and he had single. So it's almost like the balanced sword. Rigoro was the, AoE sword, and then Breath of Dana was kind of like the single damage sword specifically. This was kind of like the balance. Over here, however, they've made it fully single damage. And apart from the fact that it does stun, there's nothing special about the sword. Let's just call it that. This, however, is AoE. But not only is it crazy AoE, it does defense down. Attack up is nice, but it does defense down on the enemy. Because defense down, what that does for you is that other guys can attack the same person and get more damage too, not just you with your attack up, right? Because unless it grants everyone attack up, right? So, but in the case of this one here, right? This one here, you just have a buff, right? And then this one here, you actually can use the buff to whatever, but also if you're going up against Frost target, you're getting even more damage. So you get more additional damage per hit. So it's actually crazy, right? However, when it comes to Caliban Archer, it is not as complicated in the fact that, first of all the swords are amazing because I've tested all of them out. I do have my favorite. It seems to be the Frost. Somehow the Frost seems to be one of the best gears in most people's gear, in most people's whatever. But it is the Frost for me. But I will tell you why in a bit. But if you look at the images can give you a quick idea of how these things work, right? What is different, what's not. This one's here, there isn't really much stuff to say about it. This one gives me the vibe of the original Archer before the beta version, where the third move was an AoE. All right, as you can see here, second move single damage, first move single damage. Like first move is simple for everybody. First move is simple for everybody. It's just based on element. So, for example, if some element might cause stun, some element might cause, freezing, all that kind of stuff. That's all. Some can cause dizziness, in the storm version, depending on some whatever. But going up in what I'm talking about here, the second one here is where things start to get interesting. So you can see here, this what's this sort? Forge Revenge. All the other two icons are different, right? Look over here. This one has the second icon similar to this, and then the third is different, right? So this one has its own totally three different whatever. But if you look at it, it's not. The icons don't really say much, right? So let's go into the second one skill here. This is all attack one enemy, so we can look at this at a glance, and it's because you consider the storm and the frost all have the same whatever icon, you see why the icon is the same. Okay, it's just little tweaks that is there. Okay, so now the first one here, this one, when you do 204% attack, all right, what's going to happen is that you're going to get an attack gauge buff. Your attack gauge is going to grow by 25%. Boom. Just as that you're probably going to attack more when you use, Forge Revenge. Now, if you go to Icy Heart, what's happening here is that you're going to gain Pierce increase as well. What that does is that you're going to get more damage because they're going to be going against defense. All right, so that actually is important. But then if you look across the board as well, everyone gets TGN aura, so you don't have to worry about that part. And third one too, because you can see the icon is the same, the colors are the same too, so you can tell it's the same move. Pierce increase all you're getting, which is going to be the same as this. Okay, so that seems like a nice addition because more damage, but sometimes you probably want to take more turns, so it's going to be a preference on that. But this is going to be the deciding factor, or was the deciding factor for me, which is the third AoE, right? Or the third skill, rather. The skill 3 here. In this case, you're getting an additional vigor. Honestly, the way I pair my characters, somebody has to. What this does is allows you to have three crazy characters exhausting the vigor, but then it's also going to depend on the turn. Okay, if for example he's taking the last turn, you don't want the other guys to exhaust the vigor before it gets to him. But if he's won the first, then he's even going to add one already. So you can afford to at least use a skill 2 on one person rather than just skill 1 on some random person, right? But it's still all strategy. But with this one here, this is all about damage. Once again, you're getting that. What you're getting here is an additional damage if the target has debuff. Okay, so and obviously, I think the way his mechanic works, he's going to be tossing a lot of debuff on the enemy from the start. I think so, because when I did test him, you notice that there you go. Oh, this is to remove. We're going to figure it out, but I noticed that when I'm playing when I'm testing character, the other opponent has debuffs there. I'm going to look deeper, but I'm just trying to get into this once again. First of all, So there's a strong chance you're going to get additional damage, whatever. Otherwise, you're just going to do your regular damage, which is still the same as the first one, 140% of attack. That's all it is there. So obviously, you know, that attack is going to be the equipment you want to use, or the other equipment, which I like to use, the one that exhausts your health as you use it. But in this one's case here, this is single enemy, right? What it does is you're going to attack 4 times. However, the damage is high, okay? 304% attack. And it says if the target has debuff, you're going to also drain the target. And I think the drain is for health, like you're going to get some health back. I'm going to test it. We're going to test it here in a bit too. But more importantly, everyone is getting Stingent Aura from, you know, this stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. So that's just the little subtle things there. That just shows you that whatever the kit, whatever one you're gonna get is still good. But of course, we're going to start with Flame. Okay. So now, first, I actually want to test to figure out if the drain is health or turn meter. I think it's health. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn enemy attack so they can actually attack us too. I like this angle because this angle actually shows the animation. All right. Now, if remember, you're going to get Pierce increase for 1 turn. So I always recommend I probably want to start with this. So I'm going to start with that first on this guy here. I'll just watch the animation here. 1, 2, up in air, boom, nice. And then if you're alive, he has that extra attack there, boom, gets you out. Obviously, this is like maxed out version against maybe guys that know now level 2. So you can see here, this is what I want to see. He's taking some health, right? All right, so his health is drained. That's cool. So we don't have complete health. If the drain was actually based on debuff, then we should get health back. Okay, so 25% health, that should feel like health back. Let's go right ahead. Once you do it, boom, his health feel back. So you're draining health. So you have a chance to heal yourself just based on attacking. So if, for example, you're using the equipment, I don't know why I forgot what that equipment is. The equipment actually drains your health as you use it. It's like an advanced version of attack, but once you use it, you're decreasing your health every time. What this does is, as you lose, you get back, right? Because I think it's 25% that you're losing too. So it's almost going to even that. And I think that's why the kit was recommended, because I saw it was recommended too. So it's like you're not even in danger as long as the person obviously has debuff, the opponent has the debuff. But that's that. You can see here single damage. And of course, the other thing you have to pay attention to is the amount of damage here. Of course, this is excuse me, 15k thereabout. I'm not sure if that was critical, but if you look at the bottom left of once he comes back of his moveset there, you can see that we got that attack 5 times extra back again. So we are going to just go right ahead and just do it. Go right there, get that extra whatever, 27k, crazy damage. All right. So now the other thing you have to do whenever you're testing these characters is you have to make sure you're paying attention to the element of the opposition. Okay, right now the opposition's element actually says neutral, so meaning, you know, it's not actually even based on element damage, so you're not getting any 50% advantage or 50% disadvantage. It's just basic, right? It's almost like you're facing your own, you know, whatever. But if you go right ahead and let's go right ahead and just switch him to his, let's go with his flame version, because this is one we're all going to use from the start. Okay, if you go for the character. And that's what's about this game. You actually have to be intentional about who you want to go for. Now, I don't know if I have to go ham for the character. I think I may go some distance because of the crystal, you know, whatever for the memory stones. I will have to go some distance. But if I exhaust the 8 crystals, will I be going some more? I'm not sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust enough to take us to another version, another added, you know, altar. Okay, so let's go right ahead and let's just do this for starters. Now remember this one here, what you're going to be getting is just an attack gauge buff. Okay, obviously in this mode it's really going to matter yet because these other guys are not going to attack. You don't know who's attacking, right? So we might not see the full essence there of the benefit to it, but like I mentioned before, you actually get the AoE in this, and this animation of the AoE here is insane. Just watch this, drops sword, spread his arms, boom, the dragon flames across. And I don't think we actually had our reset yet, so we have to wait. If we had a reset, that would have taken one other person out too, because the cooldown now has reset. So if anyone's still up waiting to be killed, even if they're dead, they're gonna wait to get that hit. So that's that nice one there as well. The first one is the same all across the board, but once it comes to this version here, okay, the IC. Just bear my voice, guys. Just getting better. The icy hit. Look right here. This gives you the piercing, whatever. We are going to get that extra damage. Look at that. Boom. Apologies. We actually didn't even try the skill 2 of the other one. Just one backward slash hit and crazy stuff. But let's just go right ahead and let's do it first. Okay. So we compare the animations too. That back hit, boom, solid. 3 hits, just that one slide, whatever. Get that extra stuff in. Something 350k damage. Not far off from the single attack of the wind, of the storm relic. But going back to, this version here. And if you remember, the difference in those two is that this is going to give you that additional attack gauge. This one, however, is just going to just add some piercing. So we're going to look at something right now, okay? I'm going to confirm this. Probably do the extra damage here. Something K, not bad. And we're going to go and now check out the character. Where can I look at it to see what he has? So I can see there's something here right now. I can see there's the pierce. So now, if we're saying we have pierce, then we should be able to do more numbers damage, because that pierce is supposed to whatever. However, you can see 944 initially, that's what I wanted. We want to get pierce for 1 turn. We do have the pierce again, but now we have the Stygian aura is reset, so we can get that additional 5 damage. We're going to go right ahead and we're going to do it again. And let's see what we get this time in terms of numbers. Boom. You can see now we go up to 19. That's because pierce is in effect right now. When you start, you don't get it, but then you go right ahead and now do the AoE. Oh my word, look at that, look at that. Did we get a reset? Oh, we didn't get a reset. If we got a reset, we would have taken him out once and for all. But overall, guys, the characters on the match are truly excited that it's finally landed. And as you can tell, we already pulled our archer. And we're going to go right in and try and develop as quick as we can, because as you guys know here, we have to fulfill this event crystal stuff. Okay, we need these memory stones. So you know what, let's just go right ahead. Let's do one more round. I think one more round should actually get us to get another version of get the memory stones so we can get up to 100. So let's go right ahead. Let's get us up to 8k used gem. So let's see how the pool goes as we go ham. Okay, 1500 times 6. Yeah, I think that should be about 9, right? No, did I just say 9? 6, yeah, that should be about 9. So we'll probably we might not use everything, but let's see. Once we pull the next Caliban Archer, then we're going to put a pause and decide on how we use the gems next time. So this is the first one here. If we're not getting legendary, we're going to skip. No time to waste. We're going to do another summon again. This is the hardest crystal summon I've done in a long time. We'll do it again. Did we get no legendary? Fortunate. Do a third one. We should be on 32 right now. Nothing here. Let's see how many left to pull. Yeah, 22. So let's see. I hope we don't get up to the 22, because that would not be nice. Like, you're telling me I have to do 2 extra pulls just to get the final bit. That's not nice. And of course, doing like full 10 summon. That gets you, come on. Oh, wow, really? This game did exhaust the remaining 2, right? So, here's the thing, okay? In this case right now, do we do the 2? And then we now start with 10? Or do we do it and it can get first place? The thing is that if we do it now, I think it's guaranteed to come within the next 2. But let's look at the gem stuff first. Let's go over to the event here. Okay, we completed all the gem. Listen, so we're just going to pause here for now. I'm going to decide if I'm going to do 2 pulls later. But otherwise, Caliban Archer is here, guys. Check the guy out. And this is the equipment kit I was talking about here, because I don't remember the name of the equipment. This one right here. It is called Ascension. So yeah, this is the one here. I use an Archer, but then I always pair Archer with Vivian, so every time she can heal him back, or we do the heal whatever. But with Caliban Archer right now, so I'm going to need that healing to return his health back, because but that is only if you are using the 3rd one, okay? Otherwise, you're still going to need to use some support with the healing, because it doesn't get drained on the other 2. Otherwise, guys, it's been your boy Shin Ryu. I appreciate you here. Long video here. Hope you guys enjoy it. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day, guys. Peace.